Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and I'm along with J.C. Campagna, left winger for the Norfolk Admirals. We got a special guest on today, and it's gonna be a fun one. J.C., how are you?
Good, good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. So let's get this thing started. So obviously, with all of this happening in the last 2 or 3 weeks, with your season getting canceled and everything that's been getting stopped with all this coronavirus. How are you doing with that?
Well, it's been tough. I mean, obviously, this is a unprecedented situation where we've never really had to deal with something like this. Obviously, there's some things out of our control, and this is a pretty big pandemic that's going across the world right now. So, as much as it sucks, we understand that the safety of people, fans, our staff, players, is more important than finishing out the season. It'll be interesting to see what the NHL does with it. But I've been staying busy. Obviously, I'm a member. Actually, I'm a rep for the PHPA for my team. So I've been managing player funds and insurance and all that kind of stuff, making sure that even though the season has been cut early, that the guys get what they're entitled to and we're taken care of because it's been a tough situation on everybody.
Yeah, for sure. So the ECHL, after your season got canceled, they cut your guys' pay. So what was that like? What were your thoughts about that? Like when you first heard of that?
So obviously there was some frustration. A lot of guys in this league don't make a lot of money, especially if they are not coming off of their NHL deals or just free agents coming out of college. So it's definitely putting a financial burden on some guys, and we were pretty upset with the whole decision of the ECHL to stop paying the players. But in the long run, I think that because of the way the ECHL is, we don't have huge TV contracts. We don't have massive sponsorships, and we're heavy reliant on ticket sales in this league. So without ticket sales, without concessions and all that kind of stuff for owners, it would have been really tough to come back next season as a franchise for if they had to pay the guys without any revenue coming in for the rest of the season. So we looked at it as, yes, we were frustrated, but if we want to have a league to play in next year, it was something that the Board of Governors decided that it could end up folding 5 or 6 teams if they're required to pay players with no money coming in. And that would be detrimental to the league moving forward. So, yes, it's unfortunate, but we understand.
Yeah, for sure. It's unfortunate time for the ECHL and for everyone in hockey. So right now, what's the PHPA doing about it right now? And what's the biggest role you guys have in all this thing?
So right when this happened, all the group of player reps got together and we started brainstorming ways that we could help guys financially because a lot of guys, like I said, are in stress right now with their money because we're losing about 3.5 weeks roughly of paycheck, and then obviously the best teams in the league, they go on playoff runs, playoff bonuses. They could, if you won the championship by the time the year was done, you're losing out on maybe between $5,000 and $7,000 depending on what you're making.
Wow.
So what we ended up doing is we got together and we started reaching out to outlets that are big in the hockey community. We reached out to NHL players, and then what ended up happening was Spit and Chicklets. We sent messages to Spit and Chicklets, Paul Bissonnette, Ryan Whitney, and when they got word of it, they decided that they were going to put a kind of like a little GoFundMe together for us and run sponsorships on their podcast and donate the money to the ECHL Player Relief Fund. So that gives fans and wealthy people, even some owners of our league, opportunity to donate money to this fund. And then when we have the goal reached, we're going to distribute the funds equally among all the ECHL contracted players.
That's awesome that what you guys are doing there, and how Spin Chicklets raised a GoFundMe for you guys. Just help you guys get your money back. That's awesome what they're doing.
Yeah, they've been really good. So it's really nice of them to care. Obviously, Paul Bissonnette is one of the main head. What do you call him? The face of the franchise for Spit and Chicklets, and he played in the ECHL. So he's played with guys and played against guys, and he knows what it's like to make. Some guys are making 480 whatever it is a week, which is not very much to live on. So he understands, and he's happy to help, and we can't thank the Spit and Chicklets crew, all of them, enough for doing what they're doing. They're going to be putting a T-shirt out, donating to that as well. So a lot of the players have been sharing on their social media how to donate. So if anyone listening to this podcast who has a soft spot in their heart for ECHL players and want to donate to the fund, you can find it on Instagram, Twitter. It's kind of all over social media, so please do that.
Yeah, for sure. And so all of you guys that are listening, if you have the money, just go donate to these players. They'd appreciate it a lot. So make a lot of people's days for sure. And so how much of an impact do you think this is going to have on the ECHL next year and the year after? Or do you think it won't have that big of an impact or that major of an impact?
Well, it's tough to say because this is a very fluid situation with this coronavirus, and it's changing every day. We're starting to see more government and lockdowns and closings of restaurants and malls. So absolute worst case scenario, we're talking about a delay to the start of next season. That's the worst case scenario. Obviously, best case scenario, we start on time, all the teams are okay financially, and we're able to continue. But what will be interesting is Europe, because a lot of people don't understand that Europe actually affects professional hockey in North America, because it could be a trickle effect if Europe is not handling this coronavirus very well. And let's say, typically guys go over to Europe in end of July, very beginning of August, to start their training camp, start their season. Well, if there's still a travel ban to Europe because of this coronavirus that's going to keep spreading, then we might see a handful of North American players who have been playing in Europe for the last couple of years, or whatever league they're in, Sweden, Slovakia, Finland, whatever. They might end up looking for jobs in North America this year. So you might get a guy who's has some NHL experience, has KHL experience over in Russia, coming back and looking for American League deals that they probably could get easily because of their resume. But then that puts a trickle effect down to the ECHL, where some of the players who are American League guys will now be in the ECHL, and then ECHL, regulars might be kind of phased out and be looking for jobs in either lower leagues or just give up altogether and just get regular jobs. So hopefully that does not happen. But that's definitely a situation that is in the back of our minds that could happen if this thing doesn't, take a turn for the better.
Yeah, that'll be weird, especially seeing all the guys that are playing in Europe coming back to North America and taking some people's jobs, and then they'll be looking for other jobs, and then other people lose more jobs. So it's it's a weird thing for sure in today's world. So what's gonna be your training with all of this happening, or do you not know yet?
To be honest, I haven't really thought that far ahead because I don't know. Like we said, I don't know if the season's going to start. If I'm back in ECHL next year, though training camp doesn't start till the end of September, so we're talking almost 6 months until I'm going to get to play another competitive hockey game, and that's a long time. That's something that we're really not used to as professional athletes, because we're thinking even if we start on time, we were done beginning of March. So the rest of March all the way through April, that's 2 months. And then we have, May, June, July, August, and September. So that's almost 7 months if you really look at it that way. And that's a very long time to be, out of game shape, and the only way to be in game shape is to play games, obviously. So
Yeah.
I haven't thought about that. That's something that I'll sit down with my trainer and we'll discuss, what's the best, because this is, like I said, first time any of us have ever been through something like this before. So, but I can say that I've talked to some of my buddies in higher leagues who have not officially been canceled yet. Obviously, the NHL is still postponed and trying to figure out what they're going to do as far as playoffs, and they're even, a little confused on do they start lifting heavy? Do they start riding the bike? Because they can't skate, they can't really do much. So how do you stay in shape while you sit at home 24 hours a day for 2 weeks straight in quarantine?
Yeah. It's just, again, we're very weird time. We have no idea when this is going to be up, or like we're hoping after these 2 weeks it'll at least like it'll curve, but we have no idea at this point. So it's a very, very weird time.
Yep, it sure is.
So has your like team officials and like your whole team like been by everyone's side this entire like pandemic, like just like supporting each other and everything like that?
Well, I think the guys stuck together. Obviously, our owners and our coaching staff can only do so much because, if the league shuts us down, they shut down March 16th as our last day of pay, and there's some teams around the league, and I can't speak to if Norfolk was one of them, but they wanted to continue paying their players, and some teams were against paying their players for financial reasons. So it kind of limits on what our owner can do. Now, obviously, we have a guy who has played for the owner of our team, has played for our team. He owns a junior team in our town. He owns the practice facility. So he's very deeply connected in hockey in Norfolk, and he's in the Hall of Fame. So I can't imagine for a guy in his position what he's going through, because this is like his life. He loves hockey in Norfolk, and now we're shut down. And not only are we shut down, he's told that he's not allowed to help the players financially because it'll be a violation of what the league has implemented. So even if he wanted to help us and say, hey guys, like I know we're in tough times, I'm going to pitch you guys some money, he's not even able to do that because of the rules that were put in place. So I would say for the guys who are injured, who are still here in town, he's going above and beyond to do everything that he can to make sure guys are comfortable. But like I said, with the ECHL doing all this, owners and even the coaches, their hands are tied on what they're able to do because they obviously don't want to break rules, and they want to stay within the guidelines of what they told.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate series of events that have been happening, which has caused all this to happen. But are you still in Norfolk right now, or did you pack up and go to your hometown?
No, I'm still in Norfolk right now. I'm doing some rehab on a lower body injury that I had. It wasn't anything too serious, not limiting enough to keep me out of the lineup. Like if we were still playing, I'd be fine. But it's just something that's kind of been nagging me for the last couple games. I got flipped on a hip check against Brampton.
Ooh.
So I'm kind of taking care of that, and once my hip strength has come back, then we'll be on our way back to Columbus.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to talk about like your season for a little bit here. So you put up 28 points this season, or 28 points in 43 games, I believe it was. So what was your time like in Norfolk, and like being with like a historic franchise?
Well, obviously this was a tough year as a team. We were last place most of the year. We had a unique situation where the owners last year decided they didn't want to own the team anymore, and it was a late acquisition by our current owner, and it was kind of was dropped a bombshell in the sense of the organization was not being ran the way it should have been. And when he acquired it, he acquired all the crap that was left over. So this year it was kind of like a rebuild year, get our feet back under us, identify some core players that we need moving forward. And we also had a rookie coach this year coming off. He was a coach for the team, the junior team here locally that our owner owns that team as well. He was the head coach there. They've done very well. They've won championships multiple years. So I think it was just a bad year as far as record goes. But as far as my personal time here, I loved it. My wife loved it. We live, 30 seconds from the beach. We go there every single day. The weather's nice. So this is definitely a place that, if we start winning games, that people would love to flock to play, because it's just such a great area.
Yeah, for sure. And it's always nice going to the beach, especially on an off day. Just enjoy the beach there.
Yeah, it's wicked warm, and guys have a couple cold ones, head down to the beach, 80 degrees. It was incredible. So a couple of us have dogs. Like I got a puppy. Bring her down to the beach, and she loves it. She'll run for hours.
That's awesome. That seems like a time of your life right there.
Yeah, it has been. It definitely made our tough year go by a little easier. Because obviously when you're not winning games, it's miserable. But when you have, away from the rink, when you have a good life and good spot to live, it helps a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to go back to the beginning of your professional career. So you started out your professional career at the end of the 2016-17 season, after you played your last year for the University of Prince Edward Island over in Canada, and then you got called up or you signed a deal with the Adirondack Thunder of the East Coast Hockey League, so ECHL. What was that first goal experience like?
We were in Kalamazoo, and that's when my third game. That's when I scored my first goal. And I still remember it was Peter MacArthur passed me a puck, and I ended up tipping it between my legs and it went 5-hole. Not a typical goal that I would score, but I still, look back sometimes and watch the highlight and just laugh. It was. I remember the feeling like it was yesterday. It was really a great feeling to score your first pro goal.
Yeah, for sure. That seems like an awesome. Seems like it was an awesome experience, especially getting your first goal. Who was that first goal against, goalie wise and team wise?
It was against Kalamazoo. Goalie, I'm not sure. I want to say it was. I have to go back and look at the video. There's a kid that played for Kalamazoo that is now signed with he's still signed with the Jackets. I think it's a weird. I think he's from Latvia. I want to say Vakaleskins or something like that. It's a really long name, but I think he was in net.
Nice.
But yeah, it was definitely in Kalamazoo. I had good success in that rink, especially my third year when I was in Fort Wayne. That was last year. I loved going to Kalamazoo.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to get into that Fort Wayne, how when you played over in Fort Wayne. So last year you spent pretty much the entire season with Fort Wayne. What was it like playing in Fort Wayne? It seems like a really great city, and the fans love it there.
Yeah, I mean we had the most passionate fans, I think. It really felt like it was an NHL team. The way the fans are about their hockey, we were treated really well, and it was just a great experience to play there. Big rivals with Toledo. Cincy. There's a lot of good teams in the Midwest, and that city is just so hockey hungry. They want to see you win. They want to see you do well. They love us being involved in the community. It's just something that when you go to the rink every night, even if it's a Wednesday night, and there's going to be 6, 7, 8,000 fans there. It's so easy to play in front of a home crowd.
Yeah, so you scored 35 goals in 14 assists for 49 points that year. What do you think was going right for you that season?
Well, I just got into a groove where it seemed like every time I was putting the puck on the net, it had a chance to go in, and that's a good feeling as a guy who loves to score goals. I mean, it seemed like sometimes I would just throw the puck at the net with no opportunity to score, and it would find a way to sneak in. I played on a line with a guy named Hodgman who played in the NHL, played in the KHL, a lot of American League teams. Probably the most pure passer I've ever seen. He played in the Dell this year over in Germany, but I mean, as far as his vision, his ability to get me the puck, he would turn down wide open nets to pass to me on the back door. Like, he could have the whole net open and he would pass it to me so I could score. And when you play with a guy like that, I like to say a guy like Backstrom on Washington, feeds Ovechkin everywhere. It's just he doesn't even think about shooting. It's get in the zone and look for Ovechkin. Well, that's what I would say it was like playing with Haji. He would get into the zone and I would just go to a spot and wait because I know eventually he was going to get me the puck and it would end up in the back of the net. And that was probably the best year of goal scoring I've had in my life. And it was a lot of fun. 35, and I think I had 35 in like 50 something games. And going over that math, I felt like I was scoring almost every night.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you get like that unselfish player who literally finds you everywhere. And it's always nice to have that guy to go to, especially when he's gonna turn down an empty net just to pass to you, so you get that goal.
Yeah, and I without an exaggeration, out of my 35 goals, he had probably assisted on somewhere I'd say between 28 and 30 of them.
Wow. So you
That's,
guys really were working together.
Yeah, we played there was not one game that we didn't play together. We were on the power play together, 4-on-4, 3-on-3, overtime. If there was an opportunity, any special teams for us to be together, we were out there together. So we had like a little bromance going on as far as playing together.
Yeah, for sure. It's always good to have that type of person. So when you're also with Fort Wayne, you played with another guy we had on the podcast, Zach Vucali. What was it like playing with him, especially since he was a goaltender and like you're on his team?
So Vucali, he is actually one of my best friends in life. I don't know if you mentioned anything to him. I haven't listened to his podcast yet. If my name came up on your guys' podcast, but he is such a great person, and first of all, he's a fantastic goaltender. But he's such a good person that his personality shines beyond what he does as an athlete. I mean, he's not just known for being a great goaltender; he's known for being a good person. And on top of that, he's a fantastic goaltender. I can't say enough about that guy. We spent pretty much every day in Fort Wayne together. If we weren't together, we were, online playing video games together. We'd play basketball. We'd go to basketball games. We, hung out on the road. We'd go to hibachi for lunch after practice. We were really close. Like, probably one of the closest teammates I've had in all of hockey. So close, he actually came to my wedding this summer from Montreal. He came all the way to Chicago. So he's a great dude, and now he got his opportunity to play in the Dell at the end of the season. I hope he gets another lucrative contract, and I can't believe NHL teams aren't signing him.
Yeah,
I mean that's where I think he should definitely get at least another contract in NHL and been given an opportunity, and then see what he can do with it.
Yeah, for sure. It was really nice talking to Zach on the podcast. We talked about a lot about like his like career and like his experiences like we are right now, and he's also helped me with some of my game because I'm a goalie as well. So he also helped me with like his game. So just taking his time out of his day just to talk to me and like help me get better. Just shows you how the type of person Zach is.
Yep, absolutely.
So during that during that same year, you got your first call up to the Chicago Wolves throughout the year. So what was that experience like getting called up to the American League?
That was one of the best experiences of my life, hockey wise. Chicago was a first place team. Uh, they went to the finals that year. They were stacked with unbelievable players. Peary was there. Carr. I mean, you go down the list. It's obvious why they went to the finals, because they had a very, very good team. So it was an experience of a lifetime. I got to play a lot in the game, so it's just I got a taste of what the American League is like, and now I'm just so hungry to get back.
Yeah, just since I'm a huge Wolves fan, I saw you play. I believe you played one game with us that year.
Yep.
I was actually live in person seeing that game, so it was fun seeing you play. You played solid that game. I believe it was in Rockford.
Yep.
And I was like, I saw you during warm-ups, and I was like, dude, this dude has some sick flow. So must be pretty good.
Yeah, it was. It would have been nice being able to go bucket off for warm-ups, but
Yeah.
that's obviously only in the NHL that you can do that. But I would have loved to have been able to do that, let the flow out a bit,
Yeah, exactly. So going back to like I was doing some research on you, and you have a company called the Shot Doctor. Like, what's that about?
So that's a company I started with my trainer, actually, Brian Kunk, and we've always been trying to find ways to make my shot harder, because a question that I get a lot, being a guy who likes to score goals, is how do you shoot so hard? And it's something I've taken a lot of pride in my life, is having a hard shot, an accurate shot. So we said, let's give people an opportunity to have a hard shot and work on their shot at home, at the gym, wherever they are. So we created a product that involves resistance band training, and it's a strap that goes around your stick at the lower end of the shaft and connects to a resistance band. So you can take shots, in your shooting lane or on the ice, wherever you are, and it's kind of like a weighted bat, but in the sense of its resistance to strengthen your muscles, strengthen your shot. Instead of adding weight to a stick, it's adding resistance.
That
So you can use. Sorry, go ahead.
I actually really like that idea. That seems like a really cool thing that you came up with.
Yeah, and it's it's kind of grown organically. We haven't really done much marketing other than Instagram, and but we've sold it to all over the world. I think we sold some to people in Russia, to England, Canada. It's been crazy. Some people just find us on Instagram and say, "Hey, I want to buy this," and next thing you know, we have customers all over the world. So I definitely would encourage, if you're a hockey player who's listening to this pod right now, to go check it out. The Shot Doctor on Instagram, and just check out some of the videos. We've had some pretty big names use our product. We had Hey Barber use it when he came to Columbus. Cam Atkinson. There's been a long list of NHLers who've tried it and have it in their training bag.
Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely put the Instagram link in the bio of the episode for sure.
Awesome.
So what? Wait. So you play some roller hockey in the summertime, right?
Yep, I do.
What has that experience been like, and do you think it has an impact on your career on ice?
Yeah, I do. I'm a big fan of roller hockey. I try to play in the major tournaments in the summer. There's a lot of ice guys who still play. It's really competitive, and roller hockey is such a great game because you play. There's only four on the court at the same time. It's called sport court, obviously. I know it's in a rink still, but there's only 4 on the court at the same time, and it's so open, no offsides, no icing, and it's all about control, skill, finesse, speed. Yeah, it gets physical, but it's all the aspects of the game that you need to work on to get to the next level. And then if you can add those tools from roller hockey to your ice game, and on top of, your shot blocking, your physical play, all that kind of stuff, then, you add another bag of tools to your shed. It's just an incredible game and develops your skills so much. And it's something that I hope I can play until I'm 50.
Yeah, for sure. Some of my friends and I that play pickup in the Chicagoland area, we're actually gonna start playing some roller hockey because we think it'd definitely help our game on the ice, and it just seems like a fun sport to play like in the summertime when you don't really have that much ice available. So just to get out there and play your favorite game just seems like a win-win.
Sorry, go ahead. I've actually had some fun experience in Chicago. I've won a couple of national championships out of that Bensonville rink.
Cool.
When State Wars was there.
Yeah.
I played at Mount Prospect. That's way up, I think, on the north side.
Yeah.
But Mount Prospect has a pretty good roller rink that they have in year round. It's connected to like an exercise facility.
Ooh.
But yeah, I've done a lot of roller in Illinois.
I'll definitely have to
some good spots.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. I play at a rink over in Bolingbrook right now.
Okay.
So, but I've only played there once for roller so far, but before this whole pandemic started. So once this all ends, I'll get out there a lot more.
So small world. My host hotel for my wedding was actually a Marriott property that is right on Bolingbrook Promenade.
Really?
That obviously if you're from Bolingbrook area, you know what the promenade is. So yeah, that's where we hosted our wedding for people to stay when they were in town.
That's sick. Like I'm from like 10 minutes out from Bolingbrook, but like I play pickup in Bolingbrook at Rocket Ice Arena.
Okay.
So like I know exactly where that is, but that's a small world.
Yeah, and this summer actually I was skating at the Romeoville ice rink because I didn't have a place to skate. I was there a week and a half early for my wedding, and I wanted a place to skate, so I called them and told them that the year before I had played a little bit for the Wolves, and it was a Wolves training facility. So yeah, they let me come out and they let me skate super early in the morning, which was really nice of them and kept me on the ice for a little bit.
That's sick because I play men's league at that place too now.
Okay.
So a small world for sure. So we have a few more topics to talk about before we end this. So like you have like a foundation for military and first responders called Campy's Corner. What's that about, and like what made you decide to create that?
So I've always loved being involved in the community, and this year I wanted to do something a little bit more above and beyond what I typically have done. So I started this initiative called Campy's Corner, and basically the simplest way to explain it is I invite two either first responders, so police, firefighters, EMTs, or military, and I bring them to the game for free, give them tickets to come watch our game, and they sit in the corner of the rink, known as Campy's Corner. So it's just a way for me to connect with fans or people who have no idea what hockey is and maybe could be a fan, but they just never thought about going to a game, or even some families that don't really have the financial means to go to games a lot because they have kids or they're living paycheck to paycheck, whatever their situation may be. but it's just a way for me to give back and say thank you to them and really show them how much we appreciate everything that they do in our community, to keep us safe. And even overseas, if they're deployed, wherever they are, I think they need to be appreciated. I really support our troops and all of our first responders. So that's been something that's been awesome for me. I've met a lot of cool people this year. I would hand deliver the tickets to the naval base or the police station or the fire station. I would go personally and meet these families and meet these local heroes and bring them to the game and hopefully turn some of them into hockey fans.
Yeah, that's an awesome thing you're doing for them. We truly support and thank all of our military and first responders that do everything for us, and it's just awesome what you're doing. I was actually watching a YouTube video on Campy's Corner yesterday from Norfolk. You went to the largest naval base, right?
Yep.
How was that?
Largest naval base in the world is right here outside of Norfolk, and it's there's a lot of people stationed there, and people come from everywhere, all over the world. The boats come in for the Navy, so I got to take a tour of that facility. I got to meet a lot of Navy personnel. I got to see where the admirals live, the high ranks. I got to visit people in the hospital, the VA hospital. So that was a really surreal experience for me because I got to see what these military personnel do, day in and day out on base, whether it's they're getting ready to go on a ship or they're just coming off a ship, or it's just crazy some of the stories I've heard. But that was a really cool experience. I got to go on boats and see some jets that fly for the Navy, retired jets, and it was just there was so much to do on this base that I could talk about it for an hour, but it was a really good experience.
That's awesome. Just doing what you're doing, just like having like a foundation for the military and first responders. It's just awesome what you're doing, and everyone, especially military and first responders, I'm sure they appreciate it a lot. I have one more question for you before we get this thing before we end this. So, what do you think's your best asset for your game?
Best asset in hockey?
Yeah.
I would have to say my shot. I always try to be one of the leaders on my team in shooting, as far as shooting and shooting percentage, shot. So I'm known for my shot. My offensive ability is something that I think has helped me get to where I am. So if the say take one aspect that I would be most proud of, it would probably be that.
Yeah, for sure. Just I honestly love watching you when you're with Chicago, obviously, and like I've seen some videos on YouTube of you, so I just love watching your game. So keep it up. So I believe this is all we got for this episode. So thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it, and good luck next season, and good luck in the future. Yeah. That'll do it for this episode. So thank you to J.C. for coming on the podcast and talking hockey with us. And sorry for all the technical difficulties that have occurred along the way. But thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate all your support. Comment, like, and subscribe, and catch us on Spotify. So we'll see you guys later. Peace.